Prophet Ayyub alaihissalam. Ayyub alaihissalam is a noble prophet whose lineage reaches to Prophet Ibrahim alaihissalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "And to some of his descendants, Ibrahim, namely Dawood, Solomon, Ayyub, Yusuf, Musa and Aaron. Thus we reward those who do good." Quran Surah Al-An'am 84. Previously the Prophet Ayyub had many assets of various types, such as livestock, slaves, and land. He also had a godly wife and good offspring. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test them, and Allah loves a people, then he tests them. Whoever is pleased with the test, then he gets his pleasure, and whoever is angry with the test, then he gets his wrath. As in the hadith narrated by Tirmidhi and Ibn Majah, confirmed by Sheikh al-Albani in Sahih al-Jami number 2110. Ayyub was a person who was patient in facing the test. His wealth was exhausted, his children died, all his livestock perished, and the Prophet Ayyub alaihissalam himself suffered from a very serious illness, none of his limbs except for diseases other than the heart and his tongue, which he uses to dhikr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the face of this calamity, he remained patient and hoped for a reward, and made dhikr night and day, morning and evening. Days passed, but that day did not pass unless Ayyub's suffering got worse, and when the suffering he experienced got worse, his relatives left him, as well as his friends. All that remained was his wife, who patiently cared for him and fulfilled his rights. His wife continues to take care of him, and meet his needs, until he is willing to work for a meager wages to support her husband. Ayyub continued to feel the pain, but he remained patient while hoping for a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praising him and thanking him, so that Ayyub became a priest and role model in patience. Abu Ya'la and al-Bazar narrated from Anas bin Malik, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a vacation. Indeed, Allah's Prophet Ayyub was tested for 18 years, so that people near and far away from him, apart from two of his close relatives who often visited him in the morning and evening. Then one of them said to the other, "You know, by Allah, he has committed a sin that no one has ever committed." His friend said, "What sin is that?" He replied, "It has been 18 years that Allah has not blessed him by eliminating this ordeal." When the two of them visited him in the evening, one of them got impatient and told him about the problem. Ayyub said, "I do not know what you are saying, only Allah knows that I once passed two men who were fighting, then both of them mentioned the name of Allah, then I returned to my house and paid kafarat for both of them because I did not like both of them. It mentions Allah's name for the unrighteous." He also said, "The Prophet Ayyub came out when he wanted to relieve himself. When he has finished defecating, his wife leads him to the place of defecation. One day the Prophet Ayyub was late from his wife, and it was revealed to the Prophet Ayyub in his place, 'Smash your feet, this is cool water for bathing and for drinking.'" Quran Surah Shad 42. His wife waited for him for a long time. She met Ayyub while watching him walking towards her, while Allah had removed his illness, and the Prophet Ayyub was more handsome than before. When his wife saw this, she immediately said, "May Allah bless you, have you seen this Prophet of Allah who is being tested? By Allah, I have not seen anyone who is more similar when healthy than you." Ayyub replied, "I am the one." Ayyub had 2 heaps of wheat, one for wheat and one for barley, so Allah sent 2 clouds. When one of the clouds was over a heap of wheat, it shed gold and it overflowed, while the other cloud dumped silver on the barley heap and it overflowed. Al-Haythami said, narrated by Abu Ya'la and al-Bazar. The narrators of al-Bazar are authentic narrators of hadith. This hadith was also authenticated by Sheikh al-Albani in Ash-Shahiha 125. Prophet Ayyub recovered from sickness. After a long time had passed, namely 18 years as explained in the hadith above, Ayyub begged his Lord to relieve the suffering that had befallen him. He said, "O my Lord, verily I have been afflicted with a disease, and you are the most merciful God among all the merciful." Quran Surah Al-Anbiya 83. So Allah revealed to Ayyub to stamp his feet on the ground, then Ayyub did it, suddenly cool water gushed out, then he took a bath from it, then Ayyub recovered with Allah's permission Azza wa Jalla. He did not experience a single wound or disease unless it was completely healed. He also drank the water, so that there was not a single disease in his body except that it came out, and he returned to health as before as a beautiful person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has removed the disease that befell Ayyub and his body returned to health. He also gave him wealth again, returned his wealth and children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "And we returned his family to him, and we multiplied their number, as a mercy from us and to serve as a warning to all who worship Allah." Quran Surah Al-Anbiya, 84.